In my last video I did not too long ago, I talked about how that lady said people don't want to work. That's not what it is. If you've never worked a customer-facing job like my dad, like I said before, he worked at a factory. He worked in production. He didn't deal with a customer. All he dealt with was an angry baby boomer boss that would just yell at them and thought that was the best way to do it. And it worked because they were all baby boomers and that's how they communicate, yelling. But my dad's never done a customer-facing role. He's never had to deal with customers. Actually, I think he might be good at it if he ever tried it, but he's retired and he's never going to do anything like that. And then the girl I used to date, she's only ever worked back office at the company she works at. So she's never really understood. She's like, why do you get so mad at customers? Because it will eat the flesh off your bones. It will burn you out. Because the last 2 years, I noticed that I was burned out. Because you get sick of dealing with the customers. Because you know what they want? They say the customer's always right. The customer wants better products for free. They don't want anything less than that. So if they're not always right, they're going to be wrong every time with the attitude they have. Is after so many customers come in, walk into your office like they own the place and say, card no work, you fix, your fault. And then they don't say another word as they throw the card on the table, don't hand it to you, and then get on the phone and loudly talk, yeah, I'm just at the bank. I had this issue that was really important that I run into this guy's office without asking, and because I would have helped them either way, but it's nice if they ask, hey, can you help me? They walk in, throw the card on the table, and then because they're on the phone, you can't ask them anything. You can't just be like, hey, I need your help with something. You can't just say, excuse me, I gotta, hang on a second. Yeah, what is it? Your card's working fine. I just need to confirm this person. What? Your card's working fine. I just got to confirm. What? Your card's working fine. Here, let me call you back. And their problem was so important, they couldn't even talk in a complete sentence. And for me, and I've talked to other people about this, I've had friends that worked as cashiers at places. Nothing is more insulting and disrespectful than when you just slam your card on the counter or your money and just expect people to grab it. Because who does that? Imagine if somebody did that when your employer just did that, dropped your paycheck on the ground when it came to pay you. Which I know that's a bad example because everybody does direct deposit, but if your employer did that, you'd be so mad. But people will do that. And in restaurants too. In restaurants it's even worse because I've never worked as a waiter or waitress. I'll admit it. I've worked for tips and other things. I've worked DoorDash. I've done like guest services at a golf course. That works for tips, but you'd better not rely on tips like the waitstaff do. And waitstaff got to deal with people that will trash the place, order a burger, and they'll want it with 2 bottom buns, and they'll want their patty cooked half medium and half medium rare, and it'll be impossible to do that. I mean, it'll just be impossible. And then when nothing's right, they don't blame the person that cooked it, they blame the waitstaff. And the waitstaff gets a quarter tip, and people just say, and then they'll complain about it to people on social media, and people are not sympathetic. Nobody holds a gun to your head. I mean, you choose to work that. Really? That's what you tell people? When they get a quarter tip, you should be like, well, that's awful. We should do better. Not, well, you chose to work that. You chose to do that. And people had to deal with that for years. And then after COVID, people realized, you know what? To hell with this. I need more money. I want to do something else. I'm tired of facing these customers. I'm sick of doing this. I want to do something else. Because everybody I work with at banks dreamed of back office. And I just remember other stuff. Like, I worked at Walmart and a customer came in, they bought a laptop, and then it didn't work, or they had issue with it, and they came back in complaining. I said, well, you'll have to call Samsung. That should be covered by their, because I think that's who it was. I think it was Samsung. It should be covered by their warranty, and they should be able to take care of it. No, wait a minute. You saying I have to call? No, you sold me the product. You need to call. No, the product becomes yours when you buy it, and it's covered under the manufacturer's warranty. I can't call representing you. And even my co-manager, who was always like, take care of the customer, was nearby. He's like, no, we can't just have our manager be calling that company. You have to do it. And they couldn't believe that they bought something through us and we had to do it. And I couldn't believe that. Can you imagine somebody doing that somewhere else? Like, you go to the butcher and you have an issue with the company that sold the meat. Well, you have to call. You have to do all this. And that's why people don't want to work. It will drive you insane. The shit the customers will make you go through or expect you to go through. Because even if something's their fault, it's your fault. They'll blame you. And that's why people don't want to work. And then they hire people like that lady at the restaurant, and they complain that people don't want to work when she didn't want to learn anything. She just wants to complain that people don't want to work. I don't really get it. But at a certain point, people will have enough. You can only take so much shit. So just remember that when you see someplace understaffed, or people are saying people don't want to work, it's really not true. People don't want to work bullshit entry-level jobs that for very little pay, very little room to move up. People don't want the debt anymore. They want more. And I say good for them.